to do 165, we're going to need a little help because 165 lives right here and he's not there. And we don't want to use decimals because in calculus, and for those of you who are taking college algebra next year, we want to keep stuff in these weird, goofy numbers because we can cancel a lot of them later. So we kind of keep it in that form. That's called the exact form. So here's what I'm going to do today is, since I don't know 165, I'm going to build it out of stuff I do know. And here's what I know. I know that 120, ooh, look at him right here, and 45 make 65, 165. So what I'm allowed to do is do this, take the sine of this. But here's what I'm not allowed to do. You guys remember, y'all do this since Algebra 1 days. Everyone wants to do this. Everyone wants to say x plus y squared. You all want to distribute that little 2. But you're not allowed to do that. You can only do that with multiplying. And when we had logs, and we're going to do it next chapter, if we have 2 things here, x plus y, we want to distribute this, but we can't because we're doing another thing other than just multiplying. It only works, distribution only works for multiply. So here's what, while I want to, I do want to, I so want to, while I want to say, hey, sine 120 plus sine 45, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to do that. But some weirdo, God knows who, figured out a formula that will let me do this. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to write the flipping formula on our sheet, and we're going to just use it on our sheet. Yes. I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you. That was my intro. So here's what, don't start writing yet. I'm going to do that thing, that little, like, I'm going to sound like a 3rd grade teacher in a minute. I'm hiding that up. I would like you to, on your purple sheet, write this, sum and difference of angles. That's the title on your purple sheet. You're going to write sum, which means the plus, guys. And we're going to write difference, which means the minus, guys. I'm going to do my best to give you enough time to do it. And this is what I mean by 3rd grade teachers. Remember when you took spelling tests in 3rd grade and they wanted to give you enough time to write the word and they'd walk around the room and they do this? The word is February. February. Mrs. Tarantino's least favorite month is February. And if you were a 3rd grader, it's like, oh, well, thank God you gave me a sentence because now I understand. Well, I thought it was that other February. Leprechaun. Leprechaun. No 3rd grader needs to know how to spell leprechaun. Yes, yes. Valley. Valley. I lived in Fountain Valley. It was important that I added. So I am, thank you, Steve. Yeah, you're good. So I'm giving you time to write. So I'm going to walk around and just keep saying weird like things. Sum of angles. The words are sum of angles. Okay. So meridian. Let's say leprechaun. That was stupid. I hated my kid's teacher for that one. Okay. And Lincoln. It was all the same test. Lincoln and leprechaun. So here comes the formula. Now, what I want to let you know, there will be 2 formulas here. There will be one that's going to go here and one that's going to go here and 2 down here. Today, we are just doing sine. Normally, I do them both together, but I knew we were grading some tests, so I just thought I don't need to like make your head explode. So leave a little space because there's 2 sum ones. Leave a little space because there's 2 difference ones. We're just doing the sine version today. Here it comes, the very first one, and I'm going to pull it up, and I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to let you write that. And I'm going to walk around and keep doing 3rd grade. Embittered. Your teacher is embittered. Retirement. Retirement. She should have gone to her retirement because she no longer cares about students. Inappropriate. Inappropriate. She videotapes herself and says things that are inappropriate. Vulgar. Vulgar. Her language is often vulgar. No, Gracie, come back. Schizophrenic. Schizophrenic. Okay, here comes the next one. You guys ready? I'm gonna have to close that door. That's just bugging the crap out of me. Let me move this up a little bit so you guys can see it. I know I'm getting. Let me get rid of that there. There we go. That now. Here's what I want you to notice as you're writing. Check this out. This has a plus because that's a sum of angles. So there's a plus on this one. This is difference. That's our subtracty guy. Subtract. Mr. Sarisa had a really great way. He called these ones a sine sandwich, meaning that you have sine in the beginning and sine at the end, sine at the beginning, sine at the end. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, have we written it all down? Okay, I'll give you another minute. Rushed. Her students often feel rushed. Impatient. My teacher is very impatient. Again, it's the senioritis. Senioritis. That's right. That's right. Okay, so we want to die. That's right. Are you ready? Here we go, rock and rollers. We're doing this problem. Step one. Please stop. Step one, we need to make 165. And here, please stop. Here's what's important to know. There are lots of ways to get to 165, but the key is this. We need to use numbers that we're familiar with, right? So anytime it ends in a 5, we're going to be using like 45 or something like that, right? So let me give you some options here. You can go, I like adding. So if I was doing this one, I would split it into 120 plus 45, right? Because I am an addy kind of girl. But you know what you could also do? You could have said like 210 minus 45. You could have said sine 210 minus 45. It doesn't matter. You're going to get the same answer. You do you. But I like the adding ones when I can. So I'm going to do this one as an addy one, right? So the step one is to break this guy apart, right? Step two is the pain in the butt, but you have a cheat sheet. So look, you're doing the plus guy. Write it down. So here's how I write it down. I say to myself, sine, cosine, plus, and remember, it's like a little sandwich, cosine, sine. I do that first, right? Now I'm going to drop the angles in, right? The first guy goes first, 120 and 120. And then the second guy goes second. Now, I used to tell kids that's how you memorize it, but you don't need to memorize it. Just be careful. This is why I hate this. I am not a careful person, so I make mistakes here because I get going and it's like, damn, I made a mistake, right? Guess what? The math is over. That's it. Coming up with this is the whole math. Everything else is literally looking at your stupid unit circle, right? So here we go. Let's go to 120. Here he is. Let's steal his stuff, right? Sine of 120 is root 3 over 2. And you know what? While I'm there, I'm going to go over and do cosine while I'm there, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say that is negative 1/2. Did I lose anybody? Nice and easy. So now I'm going to go to 45 and I'm going to do literally the exact same thing. I'm stealing those two guys and look how easy they are. It's going to be root 2 over 2 plus, don't forget your plus, that's important, and another root 2 over 2. You can't, you'll get a decimal and then things won't cancel. But you're going to see in a minute, they will all be super easy and they're going to be the same numbers tonight over and over and over because we use the same numbers. It's so easy. So the next part is one of my favorites. Welcome to, oh God, I'm going to tape this. Welcome to Numberlandia. If you've had me before, you know that I have a weird theory about Numberlandia. One is that numbers are tramps and slutty. They are. And they will multiply with anybody. You know, it's kind of like real life. So they don't care if you're in jail or out of jail. You don't care if you've got an x squared attached to you. I don't care. I'll multiply with you. But going out in public is adding and subtracting. And then they act all better than someone else. It's like, no, I'm not going to add with you. If I am a 5x, I'm not going to combine with a 7y. You have a different last name. But if lights are low and I want to multiply, will they all hook up? Oh, absolutely they will. The reason I'm telling you this is because we're going to multiply these two babies. Guess what? 2 times 2 is 4. And does it matter that they're in jail? No. Guess what? People in jail multiply. It happens. It's real life. Deal with it, right? They're in there for a long time. You know what? Give them a break. So you're going to get root 6. Yay. It's real life. Don't judge. Now, we're going to come over here. We got a negative. Be careful. 1 times root 2, just root 2, and 4.
Where are your negatives?
It's right here. Now, here's what. They're ready to add, but they're very, remember we said they're a little snobby and they'll only add with their own kind. So we're going to get a common denominator, which is 4. Yay. Will it be 4 on every problem tonight? Yes, it will. This is going to be so unfulfilling, but here we go. Root 6. It's someone saying, I have an uncle in jail. And this person's saying, that's weird. I have an aunt in jail. It's like, well, yeah, too bad. I'm not gonna hang out with you. No, that's it. Because they don't have the same people in jail. When we add and subtract, it must be the exact same type of number, right? So watch this. If I had 3 root 6s plus 2 root 6s, then I could make it 5 root 6. They have the same person in jail. But if they don't, they just say, you know what? Would I hook up with you if we were multiplying? Absolutely, I would. Will I if we're adding and subtracting? I will not, right? Are these super unfulfilling? Yes. Do you need to watch your negatives and positives? Because that's the only thing you're going to do these problems tonight and be like, oh my God, it's root 6 plus root 2. Oh my God, it's negative root 6 minus root 2. Like that's all they're going to be. It actually applies in any time. So calculus lets us build things, right? So anytime we want to do architecture or engineering or any of that kind of stuff, we have to use the calc, and we use it in the calc. No, but my job is to make certain that I'm not closing that door for you until it's time, right? Okay, here we go. Yeah, you'll use it for calc. You'll use calc for nursing school because you got to take organic chemistry.
Oh, what? No.
Okay, here we go. I need to come up, Jace, with 15. I'm gonna have to do some subtracting, right? So take a look at this. Pick out some numbers here that might subtract to make 15. It's a really obvious one, right? Like you could go 45 take away 30, or you could do 60 take away 45. I had someone in another class who did 330 take away, no, they did 315 take away 300. Any of those will work, right? You can do any of them. They'll get you the same answer. I'm lazy. I like positives, so I try to stay over here if I can, but it's you do you, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to take, how about 45 take away 30? Does that seem good? 45 take away 30? We'll do that on Monday. It's the same thing. And it just depends on what they ask for. If they ask for sine, you use the sine one. They ask for cosine, you use cosine one. But the formula, you just got to memorize. I mean, you just got to know where the formulas live. Right? It's literally just two more formulas. I just don't want to throw four at you today. Okay, so here we go. Let's do it. You guys ready? Be careful on this one. Justin, sit down. What we need to do is watch that negative on this one. So here's what I know. Sine, cosine, this is how I set it up, minus cosine, sine. It makes a little sine sandwich. And here's what I know. I'm going to go 45 and then 30 and then 45 and then 30. So easy. Once you set it up, you literally just yank the stuff off the stupid unit circle. I'm going to say root 2 over 2. And I'm going to go ahead and do this guy while I'm here. Root 2 over 2. Then I'm going to do cosine 30. Remember, it goes alphabetically. So the cosine is first and the sine is second. Will they hook up with anyone? They will. They're trampy like that. Root 6 over 4 minus root 2 over 4. Final answer, 4 on the bottom. Root 6 minus root 2. Told you, light work once you see it. It really is. It's like I make mistakes here because I get going and I'm like, oh, I make stupid mistakes. Last one I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to do it because I'm feeling that lazy. How about if we got to a negative? So here's what I want you to realize. I want everyone to put their pencils down and watch me for just a second. Caesar's watching me for just a second. If I have 5 take away 2, what do I get for 5 take away 2? I get 3. What if I wanted it to be negative 3? What's the easiest way to get negative 3 with that? Just flip them, right? Just to make it 2 take away 5, right? So I get a little freaked out by trying to find 75, right? I know I have to subtract a negative 75. So you know what I do? I subtract to get to regular 75, and then I just flip them. And I had a student really tell me they thought that using that number is so much easier, right? Like it's really 300 take away 225. Like that's really obvious to be 75. So to get to be negative 75, you just flip-flop them. Negative 225, I'm sorry, 225 minus 300. Does that make sense? Could you use easier numbers? Absolutely. Someone up here did, I think it's like was it 135 minus 45, something like that? Like, I just don't, I'm too dumb. I don't really see it. Oh, maybe it's 120 minus 45. That's what it is. Like, you know what I mean? So just remember, if you need it to be negative, just put the little one first and the big one second. Does that make sense? So I'm going to stop here for my people who are at home. Goodbye. Your homework is easy.